My name is Zoe, I whispered to myself, clutching the small blanket that smelled like Jace. I am 23 years old, and life has already shown me the darkest side of reality. 5 years ago, I was a young wife, full of dreams, living in a small house with my husband. Jace, I thought our life would always stay safe inside those walls. But destiny had a different plan. One morning, Jace left for work like any other day. His smile, his gentle words, the way he held my hand, it all seemed normal. Yet, by evening, the world as I knew it was gone. Someone came to our door with a trembling voice, and I heard the words I never wanted to hear. Zoe, Jace is gone. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. Neighbors, distant friends, even family came with tears and kind words. We are here for you, Zoe. Don't worry, they said. At first, their presence was comforting, but days turned into weeks, and those people disappeared. Their words were only words. No one stayed. I was alone, with my grief, and the cold reality of survival. Jace had left a small amount of money, barely enough to last a few months. Bills piled up, rent became due, and I had no income. I had never worked outside before, never lifted a mop or scrubbed a floor for a living. But now I had no choice. I started working as a maid in strangers' houses, washing dishes, cleaning floors, cooking meals, while my own hunger gnawed at me. My body ached, my spirit trembled, and yet I kept moving forward, not for myself, but for Jace's memory and for the promise of keeping his love alive. But poverty was not the hardest part. It was the way people looked at me. When you are a young widow, the world doesn't see your pain. It sees your body, your weakness, your vulnerability. The landlord would come to collect rent and stand too close. His eyes scanned me, sharp, cold, full of hidden meaning. Zoe, you're too young to live alone. You need a man to take care of you, he said, smiling like a knife. One evening, when I admitted I didn't have enough for the rent, he leaned closer, whispering, "There are other ways to pay." You know, my heart stopped. I shut the door quickly, trembling, holding on to the fragments of my courage. At work, it was no different. Some men watched me while I bent to clean. One man brushed his hand against mine, smiling. "You work so hard, Zoe. You must get lonely at night." That word, lonely, burned inside me. Did they see my loneliness as an invitation? Did they think being a widow made me an easy target? I returned home late that night, body aching, spirit crushed. I sat quietly in the empty house, thinking of Jace's laughter, his hands, his smile, and I cried silently. I wanted to scream to the world, "Is this what a widow deserves? To be seen as weak, cheap, an object?" Even family changed. One relative came often, bringing groceries and kind words. I thought he genuinely cared, but slowly, his intentions revealed themselves. One night, he said, "Zoe, you are still young. I can make you happy again." I froze, pulling my hand away. "Please leave," I said firmly. His anger flashed in his eyes, but I held on to my dignity, the memory of Jace giving me strength. My days became a blur. Wake early, work in 3 houses, return exhausted. At 23, my youth, which should have been a blessing, became a curse. Men assumed my smile was consent, my silence, agreement, my struggle, an opportunity. I covered myself more, avoided eye contact, spoke less, yet it never stopped. One night, returning home, a group of young men called out crude jokes. My heart pounded. I whispered to myself, "Zoe, survive, for you." For Jace, that thought pierced the darkness. I realized then, even if the world saw me as weak, Jace's love and memory saw me as strong, as a survivor, as a warrior. I remembered Jace, his laughter, his hands, his gentle smile. Even in my darkest nights, that memory and promise gave me the strength to breathe, to survive. And I knew this was only the beginning of our story. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Yet the pain of losing Jace never faded. Every corner of our small house whispered his name, his laughter, his presence. I would sit in the quiet, holding onto his shirts, smelling the faint scent of him, remembering how he used to kiss my forehead before leaving for work. It was both a comfort and a torment. Work became my prison and my only lifeline. I cleaned house after house, scrubbing floors, washing dishes, cooking meals for strangers who never knew my story. Some stared too long, some whispered too much, and some offered help I didn't need. One man, middle-aged, followed me into the kitchen, leaning too close. His eyes lingered on me like a predator. "Zoe, why do you work so hard? If you were mine, you wouldn't need to lift a finger." I froze. My chest tightened. My stomach twisted. "Please respect yourself." "And me," I said, stepping back. His smirk was sharp. "Respect doesn't fill your stomach, Zoe. Think about it," he said. I left, shaking, whispering to myself, "I am stronger than fear, stronger than shame." Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Yet the pain of losing Jace never faded. Every corner of our small house whispered his name, his laughter, his presence. I would sit in the quiet, holding onto his shirts, smelling the faint scent of him, remembering how he used to kiss my forehead before leaving for work. It was both a comfort and a torment. Work became my prison and my only lifeline. I cleaned house after house, scrubbing floors, washing dishes, cooking meals for strangers who never knew my story. Some stared too long, some whispered too much, and some offered help I didn't need. One man, middle-aged, followed me into the kitchen, leaning too close. His eyes lingered on me like a predator. "Zoe, why do you work so hard? If you were mine, you wouldn't need to lift a finger." I froze. My chest tightened. My stomach twisted. "Please respect yourself." "And me," I said, stepping back. His smirk was sharp. "Respect doesn't fill your stomach, Zoe. Think about it," he said. I left, shaking, whispering to myself, "I am stronger than fear, stronger than shame." But fear was never enough to break me. Jace's memory, his gentle words, kept me moving. I remembered his laughter, the warmth of his hand in mine, the way he believed in me even when I doubted myself. Every step I took, I carried him with me. Late nights were the hardest. The silence of the house felt heavy, like the walls themselves were pressing down. I would sit by the window, staring at the dark street, imagining what life would have been if Jace were still here. And then I would whisper, "I will survive. For us, Jace. I will keep living because you believed in me." One evening, while returning home from a long day, a group of young men followed me down the narrow street, calling out crude jokes. My heart raced. I quickened my pace, holding my head high, reminding myself, "Zoe, don't let them see fear. You are not weak. You are not alone." Even in the shadows, I carried Jace's strength with me. Days at work were exhausting, but I noticed something within myself changing. I was learning to fight quietly, to protect myself with words, with posture, with courage. I learned to say no firmly, to step back, to avoid danger without fear of judgment. Every whispered insult, every greedy glance, every touch I rejected strengthened me. I was no longer just a widow, I was a woman reclaiming her power. And then, amidst all the struggle, I noticed something miraculous. The little moments of kindness, the small gestures, the smiles from strangers who respected me, they reminded me that not all the world was cruel. I began to see hope flickering, tiny but persistent. It was fragile, like a candle in a storm, but it existed, and I clung to it. Night after night, I would sit by the window, looking at the stars, imagining Jace looking down, telling me, "Zoe, you are my strength. You are the mother of our story. Keep going." And I whispered back, "I promise. Jace, I won't let the world take my light. I won't let it break me." Even the neighbors, who once whispered cruel words, started noticing the change in me. My back straightened. My eyes, once filled with fear, now reflected determination. And yet, I never forgot the pain the nights when I cried silently, when the walls of our house felt like a prison, when the world saw me as weak. Every scar, every tear, every moment of humiliation became fuel for the fire growing inside me. And yet, I never forgot the pain the nights when I cried silently, when the walls of our house felt like a prison, when the world saw me as weak. Every scar, every tear, every moment of humiliation became fuel for the fire growing inside me. One rainy night, drenched and exhausted from work, I sat on the doorstep, shivering. I thought of Jace, of our little home, of the dreams we had. I realized then that survival was more than just making it through the day. It was about holding on to love, to dignity, to the belief that life could still be beautiful. And in that realization, a spark ignited inside me. I will rise, I whispered. I will live, not just for myself, not just for Jace, but for the story we started together. I will take back the life that was stolen from us. I will be strong, I will be brave, and I will honor you, Jace, in every breath, every step, every heartbeat. From that night on, I noticed a shift. Fear still existed, yes, but it no longer ruled me. The world could throw whatever it wanted, but I had learned to shield myself with courage, to fight silently with dignity, and to survive fiercely for the love of Jace. And in the quiet moments, when I closed my eyes and felt his memory around me, I knew one truth: love, even lost, even gone, was stronger than despair. And as long as I carried Jace in my heart, I would never truly be alone. Years passed, and the struggles that once seemed unbearable became the foundation of my strength. I, Zoe, had faced the darkest nights, walked through fear, humiliation, and loneliness, but I was still standing. Jace's memory, the warmth of his laughter, the promises we shared, and the love he left behind had become my armor. Work continued to test me. There were mornings when my body refused to move, when every step felt like carrying the weight of the world. But I reminded myself, Zoe, you survived this long. You are stronger than pain. You are the keeper of Jace's love. And so, I rose each day, even when exhaustion whispered, give up. Then, something extraordinary happened. Small victories began to appear like stars piercing the night. A neighbor, who once judged me silently, offered a kind word. A client at work smiled genuinely and said, Zoe, your dedication is inspiring. Each tiny acknowledgement reminded me that the world had not forgotten how to see kindness. And most importantly, Jace's presence lingered in the choices I made. I refused to be defined by the cruelty of others. I started teaching myself new skills in the evening: simple bookkeeping, basic computer work, ways to earn more dignity and independence. Jace, this is for us, I whispered to the empty room, and I meant it with every fiber of my being. One day, I received a letter from a local organization offering support to widows who wanted to rebuild their lives. I remember staring at it, heart pounding, tears filling my eyes. This is the chance, Zoe. You can finally rise, I murmured. I filled out the forms, hoping that the world would finally see me not as a widow, not as a victim, but as someone who had fought relentlessly to survive. Months passed. I learned not just to survive, but to thrive. I earned enough to pay off the rent, buy groceries without relying on strangers, and even save a little for the future. And through it all, Jace's memory was my constant companion, guiding me, reminding me that love even after death could fuel life. One afternoon, as I returned from work, I noticed Jace's favorite book still lying on the table. I opened it, and inside was a note he had once scribbled. Zoe, always fight with your heart. Never let the world dim your light. I laughed softly, tears streaming down my face. I did it, Jace. I am still standing. I am still shining. The greatest transformation, however, was in my own heart. I no longer feared men who stared, whispered, or made advances. I no longer doubted myself. I realized that the world could never break me, not completely, because Jace had given me the courage to believe in my own worth. Each glance, each gesture, each day of survival had forged me into someone unshakable. And then, one evening, something beautiful happened. A neighbor's young son, whom I had tutored quietly for months, handed me a note. "Zoe, you inspire me. Thank you for showing me how to stand strong." My heart swelled. That moment crystallized everything I had learned. Survival wasn't just about enduring pain, it was about inspiring others, lifting them, and reclaiming your own dignity. I sat by the window that night, staring at the stars. "Jace, look what we've done," I whispered. The house was no longer empty. The walls no longer echoed only with loss. They were filled with memories of perseverance, love, and victory. I had turned despair into strength. I had transformed fear into courage. And finally, I realized something profound. Widows are not weak. We are survivors, warriors, and guardians of love that death cannot take. Society may try to define us, diminish us, or exploit us, but our hearts, our memories, and our courage are ours alone. I closed my eyes and felt Jace's presence, smiling, proud. "Zoe, you did it. You lived, you loved, you triumphed." And I whispered back, "Yes, Jace, we did it. Our story will never end." From that night onward, my life changed completely. I continued to work, yes, but now with dignity. I earned, I saved, and I grew, not just for myself, but for the memory of Jace, for the love we shared, and for the legacy of resilience that I would carry forward, even in the darkest moments. I learned the most powerful truth: love, courage, and faith in yourself can conquer anything. And as I looked out at the world, a smile on my face, I knew that Jace's love, even gone from sight, would always guide me forever.